G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Part two with Grace. Now, we just found out we're really on sync here about, especially, look, I'm going to say trigger finger from playing too much bass, but we know if we read the Inner Cigar book, which Grace will be doing and which she's talking about, and about the emotions within yourself and the stuff that is really, I guess, hindering your progress comes out physically. So we talk
hmm
about that. And then I'm going to segue there, Grace, because it was a wonderful chat. I mean, that's what I
Yeah, it
love.
was.
I love doing what I do. Self-love, self-confidence. What does it mean?
Yes,
What does that
a
mean to
big
you? Like,
one.
oh, look at the eyelids going. She's lit up like fireworks in the
I'm very
sky.
excited about this one.
Okay, all yours. I'm sitting
Yeah.
back. I'm gonna get the popcorn. I'm gonna get the popcorn and drink it. Off we go.
Well, we really connected on this one. It seems like we both were in the same residence as well. So I
Yep.
got really excited because it took me a while to fully comprehend how important this part is. And if I had known this years ago, I think it would have propelled my own personal healing a lot faster. And so, yeah, it sounds so simple, and we hear it so often. Everyone talks about self-love and self-care, but it's in such a superficial way. That really looking deeply within and looking at our subconscious beliefs, and looking at all of our programs, and listening to what they're truly saying, and most of us are not being too kind to ourselves on a daily basis, behind the scenes. So yeah, I highly recommend just really getting a good look at what are the conversations that you're having in your head, especially in stressful situations. Understanding what your triggers are, what are the stories you're telling yourself, and the belief. Are you saying, oh, you're so stupid, or you can't do that, or you're not enough? And how damaging that truly is, and how that just dumps adrenaline and
Um,
cortisol.
Cortisol. Can I say to you, we wanted to talk about your healing process. Would this segue nicely into the healing process for you too, Grace? Talking about the self-love, self-confidence thing. Would that be okay to
Yeah,
segue into that? Is that all right? So I'll
yeah,
leave
that's
it with you. I'll
perfect.
let you keep talking. This is all shadow work for me. This is all dark side, dark night of the soul, which I love. I'll segue into that, what you were talking about, and then go straight into your healing process. Go.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it does kind of intertwine. But yeah, so self-confidence, and what does that truly look like? And what are the exercises that we can do to, number one, reveal really what's going on internally, what our conversation is internally. And then once we know that we're beating ourselves up, what do we do with that information? How can we get from a person, who is afraid to do certain things because of their fear, and their lack of confidence? How do we get from here to here? And it's a continuous process. I believe it never stops. So it's always how much
Absolutely, yeah. That we do, yeah,
better can
absolutely.
we get? Yeah, and once we get to a certain level, so maybe for you it's, when you're playing music, how much bigger can it get, right? So maybe it's a larger crowd, or
Well, it's like climbing a mountain, Grace. If in my opinion, you can climb a basic hill in the suburbs, and then you can go to Mount Kosciuszko and go, and then you go to the biggest in the Himalayas. Different steeps, different um aspects with regards to those hills, where you got to sort of have more intestinal fortitude, strength, and maybe have to go through a harder time to get to the top. You right?
right, and a deeper trigger that you didn't even know was there will come out, as you
Yes,
are, elevating and facing that next level. Yeah, so I just want to share some things that were helpful for me, and of course I'm
please do.
still on journey, I'm still learning.
We
But
all
yeah,
are. We all are.
it,
We're just we're I mean, the teacher can always be a teacher, but I think, like, I mean, doing this, I've learned a lot of teachers, and we're teaching each other. I mean, I was on the same thing. You're being a teacher to me, and obviously some of the things I'm saying to you are learning. So we're both mutually respected teachers of our own thing, but also become good friends, and that's a great thing.
yeah, it's beautiful. Um,
So your
so
process,
so understanding what the conversations are, how badly we're beating ourselves up, maybe writing it down just a few times, just so we can see. And then, I do have some training with DACA Detox, Dr. Daryl Wolf, who, he says get a elastic band and put it around your wrist. And every time you catch yourself beating yourself up or having a negative belief, you snap right back to
right?
it. So yeah, so you're actually reprogramming yourself. So you're noticing, okay, I'm in this situation, I messed up, I didn't do it perfect, and now I'm
So
beating
what's
myself
the
up.
so what's the theory on that one there, Grace? What your understanding? Does it mean that you are sort of triggering the little pains, a memory that when you snap your thing, you hit your skin, and it's a bit painful, or is it just to trigger a memory, or how does it work for you?
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt at all. It's just more of like a snap back to the present. Come right back.
Okay,
I just snapped back to the present.
what does
My
that
bracelet.
mean? Hmm.
Yeah, so what does that mean? So snapping
Great.
back to the
Well, I reckon I'm asking what happened just then. My first thing I say is, well,
yeah, okay. I'm glad you were on that level because I just thought
you just broke a tie of some sort.
I did. And you know what? It's funny because with these necklaces and bracelets, we believe that when they break, you don't need them anymore.
I
So
agree
this
with
is
you. Can you see why? Okay, we're on the same
so
level.
this
I
is
love this. I
actually
love it.
beautiful.
I love this because you got those ones that you get those ones all the time that you buy them, and yeah, you put them on, and then suddenly you go break and you go, oh no. But then what just happened? You go, you just broke a tie of some sort here,
Yeah, exactly. The
live on the podcast.
breakthrough on the podcast. All
That's
right,
awesome. There you go. Hey guys,
let's
if you don't
learn.
believe it, have a look what just happened.
So it's actually really interesting that this just happened because the story from this bracelet, these are hypercharged with the energy enhancement system, which is a scalar wave frequency that's infinite. And these are crystals. And with these necklaces and bracelets all over the world, they have them everywhere now.
Yep.
What people are finding is that when you've reached that certain point where have learned your lesson and you
Yes.
no longer need it, it is literally cracking in half on people. It will just crack, just fall off
Straight up
randomly.
break. Yeah, just
Like,
straight up. It straight
yeah.
up breaks, doesn't it?
So yeah, something just happened right now. And I love that it just happened on this topic because how powerful is that? So
We're,
snapping,
we're saying something. Something's going on.
something's going on and yeah, that's something to celebrate. So yeah, snapping back to the present so you can reprogram that moment and keep going and get out of that cycle because what happens is our mind gets stuck in these loops, these feedback loops and these neuro pathways that are
Yep.
already there. They're really strong and we need to learn how to retrain them and this is just a tool to help retrain that.
Do you think journaling or anything like that would help us? So when you say, Zeb, just happened live, right? So it's snapped. Okay. Now, what would the process be for somebody? Is it the stone that's like if you got say rose quartz is on there, so you're gaining more love, or it's amethyst, which is you're gaining more psychic ability. You don't need this anymore to remind. What process do you believe, or what do you train, or whatever belief you have for other people to understand why and how to understand this when this breaks? Do you write it down? Do you
Yeah.
what's the process?
Well, actually, just what you said. So whatever the bracelet stands for, right? So this one was actually for protection, which is interesting. So, I think so for me personally, I'll just make it super personal.
Yep.
Um, if there is fear, right? If there is, and especially if you're dealing with confidence and getting out there and doing new things, I think subconsciously or whatnot, we can have fear around and think that we need more protection than we really do. So that's how I'm going to take it, that
Yeah.
I don't need the type of protection that I thought I needed.
Do you
And
think
that I
do you think well, do you think okay, I've served my purpose, you've got to that level, you don't need me anymore. Now move on. Yeah?
yeah, move on to something else. And how I always choose any of the bracelets or necklaces that I've chosen before is whatever I am drawn to. So I usually will walk in and I hear that magnetic pull, that whisper that says, "All right, I need this." And I know right away my body needs this one.
So do you think it's part of your obviously we'll go back to the healing process, self-love, self-confidence type thing. You develop those two things and then your intuition becomes more your self-intuition becomes more prevalent in that way. Because I
Oh
can
yeah.
see yeah, it does. And then because a lot of people go and as you said, a lot of people will go, how do I get where? How do I get? Like, you guys have been here. You've been in the depths of the darkest part of your life, and then you've got now. Look at you two. Especially, we'll say me and you are. Look, you two are totally different people with a lot of light, a lot of positivity, a lot of truth behind what you do, but also a lot of strength within yourself. You're still growing, but you can see the difference between here and here. What's the process? How do you help them? How do you get to
Yeah.
that point? And what's your question? So if they come to you asking that question, what are you going to say to them?
Yeah, so I mean, for me in my own journey, I know a lot of people do it in different ways, and I think there's so many different
Yeah,
ways to ignite.
absolutely. Yeah, there is. Yes, that's right.
But for me and what my calling is it's really using the frequency to ignite people,
Yep.
different homeopathic and energetic support methods. So really, if you feel like you're not connected to yourself at all, then we just start there. We start there and we start with just, breathing into your heart and using the frequency. And I haven't met anyone that hasn't had their intuition ignited after using frequency. So it's just a matter of weeks before it starts really starting to activate. And then the more you do it, the more you use it, the more it activates, but then the more you use it, it fuels your environment. So your environment is fueling your intuition as well,
Do you think it
meaning
feel,
going,
do you think it fuels your shadow as well? Do you think it really opens up your awareness of not just what's happening out there, but also within you? Do you think that's a
oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah?
Uh, that is
Because
a
that's where
topic.
that's where the big issue is. Let's be honest. I mean, everyone can say like the secret. Oh, you can have this, you can have that, have $1 million, have the. But true awareness and true understanding of where you're at is really going in. Well, I had the twin flame experience. Really going in here and going right. What is going on here? And that's what you're talking about there. The self love, self confidence, integrity. Asking victim mode. What's going on? Is there you know, have you heard anything from the past that have the traumas that have played upon you? Then you got the energies around you. Is that are they triggering you? So having that awareness of spiritual awareness in some ways, even going through that intuition process.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to get really deep into that in a little bit when we talk about Elevate
Yep,
in our
cool.
process
Yep.
and actually what we do.
Would you like to go through it now? You're quite welcome to go through it now.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you,
sure.
well,
Um,
please do. It's your channel. Go for it.
I just want to rewind 2 steps back to the self-love,
Yeah,
self-care,
absolutely. Go for it.
and what that really looks like and how um, it's a process of falling deeply and madly in love with yourself.
Okay, that makes total
And
sense.
and just when you think you love yourself, how can you love yourself even more? And so there's different practices, and there's some practices that I started doing naturally during my healing that I didn't even realize I was touching on,
Yep.
and then later worked with some professionals to really activate and tune into that. But one of them is mirror work, looking in the mirror and
Mm.
creating a promise to yourself, and you can just start out
That's
simple.
hard for some people to do there,
Oh
Grace.
yeah.
It's like, man, that's shadow. That's shadow. That's deep. That's where I come in. Deep shadow, deep dark work. That's the dark side's where where I live, and just to help people walking through that. And that's very confronting, Grace. Very confronting.
Yeah. And but doesn't it feel so amazing when you come out of it, when
Oh, it does, but I'm talking about the start of it. I mean, we've been through it. You and me have been. Well, we know
yeah,
we've been through it, and we're still going
yeah,
through it certain parts. But we know now we can look at ourselves in a different light. Where some people just have to look at themselves. Like I know when I first started this process with Greg Riley and Michael McNair, they just basically said, "What do you think of yourself?" I could not even mention some of the great things I've done because you're always told because we're fueled by ego in this world. If you go and say, look, I'm a former Australian wrestling champion, I've done this, I've done that. Oh, you big head. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's ego talking. We really didn't understand that, grasp that thing. But looking into yourself about exactly why you think that is, yeah, it's a very big thing. Keep going. Sorry to keep
yeah.
interrupting,
No,
but
I
it's
love
such a great
I love her
insight.
input on it. Yeah, it is a very, very big thing. It's very deep topic, and you're right. It does crack you open, and so
Hmm.
you can be for a few months or even a year or years, you can be kind of down this whole, once it ignites something in you, you're in that path.
No, it's
And
about 5 years for you, wasn't it? About three to
yeah,
5 years. Was it great? Yeah, for me, it was 219 till about, I have to say middle of 2023, if I want to be honest.
wow, yeah,
So yeah, so mine's about 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, once you can't go back. You can't, you're in it. And I will forever be challenging myself and trying to look deeper. And you're right. Sometimes there's a point where you've cracked something open and you just need some time to integrate. You need some time to kind of let it settle. And we
I,
can get stuck in this little.
I think it's amazing though, Grace. I think this is another reason why I do, and Jackie and I talk on Mondays about it, and looking for our real purpose. But it's really good to actually. We feel very comfortable. We've never met, and we're very comfortable through the frequency between you and me. Whereas I think you can go away and look at someone in the 3D in society, not
Yeah,
doing the work. Like they'll think you and me have been best mates for 10 years, the way we're talking.
right.
But you
Yeah.
go to someone
Very-
you've known for a while, and they're living in the 3D ego, and there's no way we all go, hang on a minute, okay, I'll just step here, I'll just stand here. Nothing really to talk about. Not really
Right.
feeling that. You understand where I'm at?
Oh, yeah. It's hard to connect. Yeah.
Yes.
You can feel there's not an understanding or a space for it. And so, yeah, that's why having those connections with people who have been there or vibrate on the same resonance is beautiful.
It is. It is. You want to go? If you want to, have you finished up with your healing? You happy with the healing process? 'Cause we'll go. We'll go from there. And you want to talk about Elevate Spot, your business? Um,
Sure.
you could go through there and we could put a bit of your healing practices in there. I know you're very passionate about what you do, and you can tell the way you speak about what you've done, and the way you've come out of your. I'll call it a spiritual awakening if you don't mind.
Sure.
We've all experienced the dark night of the soul. We've experienced the bad times, the good times. I mean, I've been getting visions for the last, I don't know, 4 weeks every night because I've
Wow.
connected to the higher power type thing, and universally messages are coming through left, right, and center. I'm just wow. Whether I rest or not, I don't know, but tell us about Elevate Spot, your passion, your
Uh,
passion.
yeah, my passion, my vision that was birthed.
And I do
So
apologize if I'm looking down. I'm just taking some notes as well
yeah,
for our
for
thing.
sure.
So yeah. So I do
Um,
apologize if it looks like I'm not been doing that. So yeah.
So the vision of Elevate is to bring frequency and vibration to the average day person, someone
Okay.
who would never ever find themselves working with vibration. Because right now, I think we can all agree, we're all shifting and we all could use some support. There's a lot happening in the world. So what we do is we've taken a modern day spa and we've combined it to make a new type of spa that I call a vibrational spa.
Oh,
Uh,
right.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's very science-based in that, we talk about the real facts of frequency and that our body operates at a certain millivoltage and our cells
Okay.
need a specific millivoltage to actually repair.
So you're looking at the physical first to get the your body physically to that vibration, then you work within the mind and spirit. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, actually, it kind of goes together at the same
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So as we're moving the physical, but we're approaching it from a more of a, people, we need more than just the people who are you know into doing work on themselves to come in. We need to help the average person. We need to help the person who has a sprained ankle, the person who may have had COVID and is having a trouble recovering from it months later, or somebody who is dealing with some chronic symptoms. Nowadays, everybody's dealing with fatigue. Everybody's dealing with some type of headache or nerve pain or you name it. I mean, I can't.
Well, yeah. What's your take on that?
I think it's a number of things. I think it's the world we live in right now.
I
We
think it's
are
I think I think it's like that. Yeah.
we're dealing with a more radiation poisoning than ever, as far as Wi-Fi, electronics, blue light poisoning, toxins in our water. And then never mind if we look at from like a spiritual lens, the earth literally changing its frequency. And
We're going
yeah,
through a major shift.
yes.
We are
And
going through this, and it's a friend of mine, Danny Searle, who lives in Brisbane. He said it's a scary time for some people, but it's an exciting time for us as healers,
mhm.
as the awakened ones, if we call it that way. We're there's a lot of people waking up, Grace.
Oh yeah. And it's time to do our work, right? This is the time we've been waiting for. We've been prepared for. So it's go time.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with you there. Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, we all need to level up, and we need to shift. And a lot of times that comes out as physical blockages when we are cracking things open. So it's a combination of um, the way the world is right now and the time that everyone is, needing to shift their actual frequency. Um, so yeah, so we approach it from more of a practical matter where we're just looking at, I have dancers that come in that have sprained their ankle. I have people with chronic mystery symptoms. We have people with back pain, people with, you know, uh, high levels of inflammation that has been categorized as a, dis-ease. Uh, and what we do is we have them sit down, we do a consultation with them, and we really look at the whole person, and we look at their day, their lifestyle, how their environment is actually contributing to lowering their
So
frequency
can I
as
ask you?
well
I'm
as.
sorry. Can I ask you? Sorry, just with that one. Do you have a business back in Boston? Is that right? And you've got practitioners with you, or how does that
Yes.
work with? You have.
Yep.
Okay. So they're all
Yes.
trained practice. So you train them yourself? Is that how it
Yeah.
works? Yeah. Sweet.
Yep.
Yep.
So I have a team of practitioners that work with me. We have a stretch therapist that helps with the body work. Um, we have somebody that does wolf non-surgical. So that is actually going into the body and with the elbow, it's a technique to actually pull apart calcification that's in the body that's causing back pain, injuries. So actually, I noticed your finger has an injury. We would go back in and we would look behind here. We would look on the elbow area and we would see where there's tension and we would work it and actually pull apart scar tissue. So that way circulation can go back to
Because
that area.
I get that because I've done massage myotherapy and body healing for 27 years, so I get it.
Okay. Yes, you
So I get
do.
I get exactly what you're talking about. So you don't just look at this one. So for example, I know because I was a pro wrestler, I know for a fact because I've got no feeling, a little bit of no feeling in the top part of my leg here. I know what it is because it's a damaged nerve. I know exactly where it's coming. So exactly what you're saying is exactly spot on.
So what we would do is wherever that damaged nerve is, we would actually use your pulse to identify. And as the machine's hooked up to you, we would
Yep.
put the wand over the nerve and we would actually feel with our pulse, with your pulse, how much of a magnetic response is
Okay.
something in that area. And then
Right.
that is how damaged it is. And then the frequency actually goes to that specific area to jumpstart cellular repair. So we would actually fine tune and find where the blockage is, or we may
Wow.
discover that it's a little bit further up, or it's actually, wrapping around from another area. And then we would jumpstart that area to repair it.
Could I ask you with that one there, on a spiritual level as well, the chakras, because we know the chakras are
Yep.
the base chi within each of the chakras. We won't even go into we can go into color therapy and all that sort of stuff and what the heart. Do you do any balances chi wise? You do a lot of that as well. And if you do explain with auras and as well,
Sure.
yep, go for it.
Yes. So to describe this device, it is connected to you, and the practitioner is with you, feeling your pulse the whole time.
Okay.
And through thousands of frequencies, and there are chakra frequencies on there. And if your body has like a response to that specific program, then we would apply that chakra.
Okay.
So all the chakras, we have organs, we have brainwave programs, we have programs that help with emotional constipation to help move things.
You
Yeah.
know what?
And
You know what?
yeah,
I'm not laughing because I absolutely believe it. Believe it with kids who have that issue. They can't express. It's a
yes.
simple. It's a quite a simple. Or they're holding back because of their being scared. I get it.
Yes, you so get it. And so that's why sometimes we need a little bit of help to move things along. And so if these programs are specifically designed to do these things specifically, we're going to jumpstart movement in areas that have been stuck or stagnant. Um, so yeah, we do work with the chakras, and I can tell you that almost every session, at least one chakra comes up for somebody. And it's interesting to see, as we go through all these changes in the world, there's usually themes where people come in. And for a while, it was okay, let's work on the heart chakra. Everybody was coming in with beat up heart chakras. Um, Recently, it's been to open their spiritual center. So that's been beautiful too. And the really neat thing is, as we're working on people, there's a wave of consciousness that happens. So there's a conversation that happens. So we're pushing the button for spirituality, and before you know it, they are
Are you talking
starting.
to spirit? Are you talking to their spirit?
We're talking to their being, yeah,
Yep.
and they don't know what button we're pressing, because there's no need for us we can tell them later if they ask, but the process is we push the button to start on that program, and what do you know, they start talking about that topic.
Because
So
because you're talking to spirit. I get where you're coming because you're bypassing the conscious brain into the subconscious. This is only in my
yes,
view. And then you're
yes,
directly talking to that one. So it's like, as I said, with the shadow work that I do, I access that trauma, emotion, get in there, work it. Right, this is what's affecting. Bang, let's change it. How do we change it? Stuff like that.
yes, exactly. And so, like, say we were on the heart chakra, they may start all of a sudden telling us about a breakup they had or some type of past sadness or grief. And we just sit back and we kind of smile because we know, okay, they're releasing what they need to release. That's it. It's as easy as that. And
Yep.
so that's what a lot of our process looks like,
Yep.
as we're just sitting there and we're just that other face to listen and help facilitate that movement.
Could I ask you one
And
more question while I've got you? Because I'm just, as I say, all this stuff's coming at me now. The big
yeah.
thing, and looks like it's very successful. Post treatment, what's your? That's what everyone's going to ask, because you know what people do in these world. They go to the doctor, get a pill. Oh yeah, we'll be right. Fix it up, back to the normal. Whereas we don't do that. We actually, I got the big thing for us, and the big thing when all this stuff started was, oh yeah, I'll go to the doctor and I'm fixed. But they don't realize you have to go within to get the true healing and understanding, and we take responsibility. I go, no, you didn't. I mean, I didn't. I mean, you could say the same thing. We all could say the same thing, that we didn't take responsibility. We went and got a pill and go, that's going to fix it. And then we go back to our old life instead of saying, right, okay, now, okay, this finger's knackered. What am I going to do? I'm going to keep splinting it and stuff like that. But what I'm going to do is do some more exercises. I won't do the exercise. I'll be right. I'll go back and play normally. That's what normal people do, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned.
You're
But
right. That's what we're trained to do,
and what,
right?
so what's your post treatment, and how much support? I'm sure it's a lot. The support
Yeah.
you get.
So when people are working with us, they usually commit to working with us for a series of months. And so
Yep.
with that being said, we're checking in with them, okay, so how did you feel after your last session? And so that's a really great way to intervene and just help guide them and coach them through, because whether they know it or not, and usually they do start to realize it, we coach them through the emotional release process.
Okay.
So they may say, I just had a really bad day the next day. I don't know why, but I was really emotional. I was crying. And then we say, oh, well, that's normal. We expect that. That's actually a good thing. So we're really educating, and we're really just trying to like train them and guide them through the process. Now, most of the time, people are like, as we educate them, they're okay with it. There are a few that are like, there's always going to be a few that are like, okay, I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to go through this. And so for
And that's
those
fine
people,
too. It's their own
that's
journey.
fine. Go do the cold laser, we'll be here for you. We're here to help patch you up. And when they are ready, we have a relationship and a bond with them, and we can continue to, walk them through their own path
So how
at
did you?
their own
Sorry, at their
pace.
own pace. Yeah. How did you start with all this? So how did Elevate Spot come about? With after you did your healing, when was the time that you sort of said, right, I've got to start with, I've got to start this. So your first client, how did you actually get? Did you just get a few people in? How did you do it?
Yeah. So after I started treating people, I actually started treating people when I wasn't completely well. I was still I was, I was getting there, but people started coming my way. So this just started like people said, "Oh, I heard you have, I bumped into so and so, and they
I
said
was
you
going to
have this."
say you've changed your everything you talk about. Change your frequency, change yourself. Started doing this stuff, Todd, and you started trusting yourself and loving what you did. And it's as simple as that, isn't it? And what we
They
give
came.
is value in the feel of I can feel good. I want you to feel good too. You know what I mean? The feeling of being around you. It's a great. I mean, it's a great feeling to chat to you. I mean, and stuff like that too. So having that great uplifting feeling, and then getting the benefit of your great treatment too.
It was interesting because I was not seeking it out. And I do look at it as more of like a calling, a spiritual calling.
Yep,
Because in the beginning, and this is why, and this is, it's a hard thing to say because I don't want it to be looked at the wrong way. But, in the beginning, I said, I don't want to do this. I want to go back to my old life. But then I started seeing that there was a calling, that there was a reason why I went through all of
there
this, and
is.
that resistance was, just me resisting my own calling. And that was
Bullshit,
my own,
calling and shadow, however you want to call it. We
yeah,
don't we're used to it, aren't we? Until we have to actually say, like I'm probably still. That's where probably, as I said to you, this finger we're talking about. That's exactly
yeah.
what the exact. I'm there, and I'm taking massive steps. Now take the next big one. That's pretty much what they're saying. And it started. It's already started. So it's actually getting better. So there you go.
Wow. Yep. And so once you can connect that, okay, this injury happened. I know what this means. Isn't that powerful enough? As soon as you know what it means, you're bringing it into your conscious. And then, like you said, it starts to get less and less painful. It doesn't have to scream as loud
It's
as you continue to
yeah,
listen to it.
amazing, amazing stuff. So you're doing some amazing things. Look, we've got about 5 minutes to go. We'll do. So we'll keep it going. Keep going with Elevate Spot. I can just see
Yeah.
you light. I can just see you light up when you talk about it. It's amazing. That's what
Yeah. So,
anyone I speak to, and as I said, we're destined to do all this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, we were destined to do this interview, and as I said, guys, I mean, you could just feel. I mean, people have to these days think about. They go, oh, the intuition's not good. Oh, what's about this person? Mate, you could just already see. You can already feel. This is why we attract people what we attract because of our vibration.
and
And we
I
start and
literally feel like you vibed in. Like you came, like how we met, we literally, it was just like
yep.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was, and that's why
Oh,
when we would do it, yeah, it just came out. And this is what happens with. I had an experience the other day. We're talking to someone, and I go, I just connected with this bloke. He's just giving me his phone to have a look at this conversation, and it was. I think it was basically because of our vibration, the trust that we have, and the no BS as well. I think you
yeah.
just like I think people don't realize how much they pick up on others. If you get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
They go, hang on a minute. And then the other thing we have to watch out is for energy vampires, which we'll talk about. We can go into. Okay, here's your last question. Energy vampires.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How do you deal with them? Right. I'm sure you get them in your clinic. How do you go with that?
Yeah. And so that was a huge lesson for me in the beginning. And I learned quickly to not feed the energy. And I've almost gotten to a point where I am okay with them leaving. So, we want to attract the right people, the people that are, especially Elevate right now, we want to attract people who are willing to do the work
Yes.
and who are going to take radical self responsibility. And so with energy vampires, I will not give my energy. I've learned, and that was a huge lesson for me because I had some boundary lessons that I had to learn in order to get well. Um, I'm not going to feed into it. I'm not going to stay stuck. I'm going to put up boundaries. Um, I remember in the beginning, I was getting all these shields to help protect myself, and and they helped a little bit. But the real lesson was learning to um, say no and to cut it off.
It's
So
hard
I
though
mean,
for someone like us, isn't it, Grace? Because we are caring people. We do have our other side, which we can tell, but we have to bring our other side in a respectful, controlling way that we're protecting ourselves in it, and we don't want that, that energy coming into us, if that makes any silly sense.
Absolutely. And again, the whole mission is to help people move. And if we're stuck in that, and describing an energy vampire for me, it's, it's usually someone who's stuck, saying the same thing. They're not moving forward. They're dragging from you. They're not looking internally. They're not willing to do the work. And so at that point, what I do is we have a second location that's more self-service. And so I think that's a wonderful place to start where you sit in a chair alone and you don't have to talk to anyone.
Yep.
And so let the
It
frequency
sounds
do what it
sounds
needs to
amazing, this
do.
thing. Yeah. Sounds amazing
Yeah,
what you've really, look, it's credit to you. You've done a really red hot job here for what you've
thank you.
been doing. You're doing really good, and you can just see the passion coming out in you. Now we've got a couple of minutes left. Now what we want to do is have you back on in a couple of months to see. We always like to progress to see what's going, but this has been a wonderful chat.
It's been so wonderful. I've really enjoyed chatting with you and meeting you and being in your energy. It's
Oh, thank you so
wonderful.
much. Well, the same. Well, it's good to see. As I said to you, I do what I do for the for interviewing. We started this back in during the lockdowns during COVID, and just to meet such great people and then start this. I'm a superhero freak. If you look at my profile, they think I play Robin down here. I'm Melbourne City Robin. I go out and do charity work and dress as Robin. They go, oh, you're Robin the Boy Wonder. Anyway, don't know that can't, there's a process of that. There's a spiritual process on the characters that I pick too. That's why I don't pick. That's why I didn't pick Batman for some reason. Anyway,
Oh,
oh yeah,
interesting.
there's a reason why I got Robin.
Okay,
Don't
so
worry.
who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite? Well,
Yeah.
it was the Flash because it's just the speed. It's a speed freak type thing. But Robin, if you look at the characters, how he was brought up, always second best, and then he went in as the Titans and took on a leadership role to win to basically prove himself as a leader. And three, he has major problems with relationships, but then he finds someone, bang, because he does all the deep
Wow.
dark work, and he actually goes deep dark in Titans. So there you go. So now I
Whoa.
get it. But there's
Beautiful.
other ones I play. So I do have a love for David Hasselhoff and Baywatch. Anyway,
Yeah. Oh, Baywatch. I remember Baywatch.
yeah, I play. I've got actually David Hasselhoff's jacket. So uh,
That's great.
I bought it from a prop shop. But Grace, do you want to talk about quickly just to finish off with? Do you want to tell us where they can find you? We've got our little
Sure.
our usual one down the bottom to find out where you can find Grace. Off you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So my spa is called Elevate Spa and it's in Taunton, Massachusetts. Our website is elevatedspas.com. And we actually are going to be kicking off a retreat soon where we're going to be going to different cities and different countries. So I encourage you to go online, send us an email, give us a phone call. Our phone is listed on the website, and reach out if you'd like us to be in your city, or if you're interested in doing a private retreat where we can bring one of our machines and do a whole workshop. We also do. We do overnights as well at our other location where we have an immersion weekend coming up where we have people come and stay with us and sleep over and get frequency 24/7 for like 3-4 days in a row and do a healing boot camp. So yeah,
That's
I
that's absolutely
hope to
fantastic.
see you guys.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to finish this up. Grace, thank you very much for your time. We'll have a chat
Yeah,
off air. I'll give you a call off air and we'll have a bit more of a debrief. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Grace. Thank you so much
thank
for a
you.
chat with Jay from the Journey of Whitefeather and Level Limit Spiritual Transit podcast. As I always sign off with Brett the Hitman Hart, WWE champion, WWF champion. Jackie and I love him. Always be the best there is, best there was, and best there ever will be. Thank you very much, Grace. We'll see you soon.